On the full moon, I remember being at the ocean as a kid, and the tides were always so much more dramatic. The tide would come up so much higher than normal, and it was always really exciting. And in a way, I think this represents the way the full moon affects our emotions as well. Everything feels more intense, both the highs and the lows. The full moon is a powerful symbol of growth, transformation, and connection to the spiritual realm. It's a time to honor the cycles of nature and the cycles of our own lives. In the end of August, we're in full harvest season. Everything is in bloom and fruiting. On this morning, I picked some roses to put in my moon bath. Okay, I know this sounds kind of woo-woo and weird, but I like to draw a bath the night before a full moon and let that water charge all night under the light of the moon, and then I'll bathe in it in the morning with herbs and salts. Something about it feels really good to the spirit. It was raining a lot on this morning, which felt so divine in a way. I don't think we got rain once this summer, and there's something about that first rain as the seasons begin to change that feels so good. So this morning I'm off to pick some mullens in the field that I'm going to later use to make candle torches with. Every morning I love to just walk around and see what I find that is ripe and that I can forage. The fall raspberry harvest is starting to become ripe, which is so exciting to me. We cut our raspberries this spring all the way to the base in order to prune them. So that meant we didn't get a summer harvest, but wow, this fall harvest is going to be so epic this year. I made oatmeal this morning and put some stewed elderberry on top, which was the most epic tasting thing. Now that the mornings are cold again, I've been really craving something warm in the morning. Oatmeal is such a nice routine, too, because it's the easiest, quickest thing to make. Okay, so one specific thing that I really like to do on the full moon is deep clean my house. I just feel like it's such a good day to really scrub the month's worth of dirt and dust away. This idea that witches carried around a broom actually came from the idea that witches believed that negative energy collected on dust, and so they were always sweeping away the bad energy and cleaning their home with their broom. And so, a witch and her broom kind of became a thing. And I don't know, I really resonate with that. I feel like the feeling after deep cleaning is one of the best feelings out there in life, to be honest. Just scrubbing away all the bad energy. Clean your space, clear your mind is a saying that I really live by. I feel like when my life feels chaotic and I feel ungrounded, if I brush all of the dust out of my home, all of a sudden everything feels a bit lighter and easier in life. So 3 or 4 months ago, I went to this full moon gathering and I brought some brownies. And ever since that night, I've been making brownies on the full moon. I don't know why, but it's just this strange ritual I've had this summer. And it's been really fun. I don't know. I guess it's just something small to look forward to every month. Also, I feel like a good, proper, gooey and chewy brownie is so extremely underrated. I feel like the trick to brownies is to slightly undercook them so that they're kind of fudgy on the inside. Otherwise, if you cook them too long, they kind of have the consistency of cake, which is not ideal in my opinion. I feel like it took me a long time to learn the art of making brownies. It wasn't until I had my aunts a while back that I realized that I'm really doing it wrong and that I need to do better. Is it the best brownie you've ever had in your life?
Wow.
Okay, so I'm really quickly going to talk about the sponsor of this video. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Regardless, if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a tough time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to get signed up with a therapist. There's a link in my description. Just go to betterhelp.com/Isabel. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gives you 10% off your first month at BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Isabel. Thank you again so much to BetterHelp for supporting this channel. A friend of mine is taking care of this litter of newborn stray kittens that the mother actually abandoned her litter. So yeah, my friend's taking care of them. And I couldn't help myself and adopt one of the kittens. She is just the cutest little thing. My heart is melting every day, you guys. Do you like your new bed? It was rainy all day today. I tried to get a little weeding done, but gave up after getting way too wet. I'm still in this mode of trying to eat all that I possibly can from the garden. Right now we have an abundance of beets and cauliflower. And mostly for dinner most nights, I've just been making lots of salads with fresh tomatoes and herbs. One of my favorite things in this life is to be eating a meal that I mostly grew almost all of the ingredients for. I don't know, it just feels so empowering in a way. Also, now I'm starting to work on my Mullen Torches for my little ritual tonight, and I'm just melting the beeswax for that. I'm also making some cinnamon rolls, and I will be giving that to a friend of mine. And I'm working on this recipe currently for a cookbook that I will be releasing later this fall, which I'm super, super excited about. Okay, so in order to make these little torches, basically the mullein is acting as the candle wick, and then you just pour hot wax over the bud, and you will do this in layers so that you can completely cover the entire bud. This ritual, I didn't know this, but it dates back to Greek and Roman times. People used to dip the heads of mulleins into tallow and use them as torches. Today, I also got my bulk food shipment in. I order almost all of my bulk grains and nuts and spices and pantry items just in super large quantities, mostly because we live very far from a grocery store, and so it's just really helpful to have large amounts of things in the pantry. This night was windy, and I'm really starting to feel the beginnings of autumn on these days. One of the last things I like to do during these summer full moons is to bathe in the river under the light of the moon. I personally think that moonlight is just as important as sunlight, and we don't get enough moonlight in our life. So if we can go stand under the moon for a while, it can be really healing for our soul and our spirit. Full moon always invokes such like intense emotions. I feel like everything I've been feeling has felt so like raw and like so much, you know? Like I could cry and laugh at the same time. And oh, this water is getting really cold. Every day it feels like it's getting colder. Something about this time of year, when the days start to get shorter and the nights get longer, it just feels like my soul is coming back to life. I don't know, the nighttime is such a magical time, and it's like the only time I feel like that I'm able to really kind of go into myself. On the full moon, I like to write down things that I'm letting go of in my life. The new moon is really good for like manifesting and bringing things into your life. And then on the full moon, it's a really good time to let go of really anything. Habits that you have that maybe aren't serving you anymore, or attachments to things. It feels like, for me at least, when I get overly attached to something, that's kind of what causes suffering in my life. I felt that a lot last year. I think I had this like over attachment to maintaining this career, or I always felt like, oh man, like what if I lose all of this? I have to work super hard in order to like keep up with this, I don't know, like this thing that I have in regards to filming and being on the internet. And it was causing a lot of suffering in my life because it felt like I was just constantly stressed that I wasn't doing enough, I wasn't being enough, and I wasn't working hard enough. And then I really remember this. It was actually last fall. I went on this really long hike up in the mountains and the leaves were changing, and I just like had this like download. I was walking through the trees and I just thought to myself, wait, but if tomorrow I woke up and all of this was gone, this career, this presence I have online, I realized in that moment, oh my gosh, it would be okay. Like, not only would I be fine, but it would be kind of nice. Then I could just focus on other things in my life, like farming and growing stuff and weaving, you know? And when I realized that, it all of a sudden, I just felt free. I felt like, oh, okay. It doesn't matter if I'm creating bad things or being super cringy, or because if it all goes away, it's fine. I don't know. And having that level of detachment in our life, for me at least, is super helpful. Just imagining what it would be like to not have it and then finding peace with that. It frees us in a way that I can't explain, but it's good for me at least to let go of my attachments to things. I mean, I feel like I'm constantly in this wave of life of getting overly attached to stuff and then realizing that and then letting that go and then getting attached to something else and then letting that go. And right now, something in my life I'm trying to let go of is this feeling that my life isn't enough in a way. And I don't know why I feel like that. I just can get frustrated sometimes with having such little space, and it makes me feel like, oh, my life, like, it would just be so nice to have more space. I would love that. I would really, really love it. And as much as I can like maybe dream of that and hope for that one day, I'm also kind of trying to let that go because I really want to just be more present in the now and in the place that I'm in right now, because I might never be here again, you know? And I'll totally look back at these days in the tiny house and just think, oh, innocent times, you know, like things were so simple back then. I just lived in this like tiny little box up in the mountains. And so I'm just really trying to appreciate like where I am right now, with the idea that I would love to expand one day. I would love to move somewhere. I would love to have something a little bit bigger than just a little box. But yeah, for now it's fine. And I'm just trying to sit with that and
let go of this need almost. Because I think the need makes it so you almost don't get it. And I think through letting things go is actually how we're able to bring things into our life. Because when we let go, we make space for other things to come in. So, okay, so on this full moon, I am going to fold up this little piece of paper of things that I'm letting go of and just going to burn it. Place it into a bowl. Watch that go away. Watching like all of your attachments just physically burn away, it's really something. Okay, wow. Well, thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you next week.